Okay, I think we are live. 안녕하세요. 오늘의 수업을 시작하겠습니다. So welcome to Talk to Me in Korean's live class for today. I have my coffee here, my mic here. So I hope you can hear me. Please let me know. That's the first thing that you need to let me know. If you can hear me well, 잘 들리는지 알려주세요. One thing that I am trying differently than I guess different from usual is I will try to incorporate more Korean into today's class. 오늘은 한국어를 더 써볼 거예요. And I think Korean first, English first, English first, Korean first. I personally prefer the easy language first and then the target language. So if I'm learning, say, German, I want the other person or teacher to say something in English and give me time to think in German sometimes. In this case, if it's a class. So I will try to, for example, if I say something in English, which is the class language for this live class, and if I think that can be said in a Korean phrase that's suitable for your level, I will try to say that in Korean. 먼저 영어로 뭘 말했는데 여러분도 이해할 수 있는 한국어 문장으로 말할 수 있으면 한국어로도 말할게요. So thank you for letting me know that the sound is good. The setting is always the same, but sometimes it's, the computers always decide to malfunction from time to time. For example, this morning, so I woke up at 5:40 a.m. because it's a 7 a.m. class. I wanted to warm up my brain, my body, my voice, right? Have my coffee. So everything was ready. But then 다 준비됐는데 한 가지가 안 된 거예요. One thing wasn't ready. 한 가지가 안 됐어요. That was the this one. That was the video, like phone mirroring on my computer, like from my iPhone. That wasn't working. I was like, this is the same as every single time. 평소랑 똑같은데 왜 안 되지? Why isn't it working? 똑같은데. This was just not connecting. So I was like, so we can't do the quiz questions today? So I turned off the computer, restarted, 컴퓨터를 끄고 다시 시작하고 I turned off my phone and restarted. 다시 시작하고 했어요. Well, thank you for the... my voice sounds deeper than other times. Maybe, yeah. My brain is fully awake, but my voice isn't. So you can compare, if you're watching the recording of this live class, which will be available in the live tab on our YouTube channel, you can compare the starting voice and the ending voice of the live class. 나중에 녹화된 걸 보시면 처음 목소리랑 마지막 목소리 비교해 볼 수 있을 것 같아요. One thing, talking about YouTube channels, you can, whenever you feel like it, go to our YouTube channel on your phone or on your computer and look at the tabs. You see videos, shorts, live, and then there will be courses. There will be a tab for courses. That's just another name for a specific type of or specific types of playlists. 재생 목록 playlists that can be kind of watched or videos that can be watched one after another. So you can go and look at our live class level 1 review, level 2 review, level 3 review. So go check that out. And also, while you're on your computer, this is what we're reading, please check out our website, because on our website we have lots of new cool features. First of all, we have this 1-minute check that you can start with. 1분 만에 여러분이 어떻게 공부해야 되는지 알 수 있어요. Within just 1 minute, you can figure out how best you can learn Korean with us. We have the courses, books, the speaking app, Seo, the reading app, Talk to Me in Korean Stories, which we are using today for this live class, as you can see here. The logo up here is for this app, and we have a book sale going on from today. So you can go to our bookstore and get our books. All right. So that's some information for you. 그러면 한번 수업을 시작해 볼까요? Let's begin today's class. So where do I see the comments? Yes, over here. 좋아요. 그러면 오늘 수업은 I prepared 3 articles from our app, Talk to Me in Korean Stories. As you can see, we have 3 apps here, and the middle one is the Stories app. So inside, it'll greet you, and then you can see these tabs. This is the home tab, and then you see these stories over here in different levels. Level 2 has this many series, connected stories, articles, standalone articles. So we're going to go to level 3, level 4, and then level 7. I hope we will have enough time for level 7, but at least we'll definitely do level 3 and 4. 레벨 3, 레벨 4 이렇게 할 거예요. Alright, let's read the first one. 대사를 다 외웠어요. This is the length of the story that or article that we're going to be reading. 이 정도 길이입니다. 준비되셨나요? Are you ready? Okay, let's get started. 자, 대사를 다 외웠어요. 고구마와 사이다. 하품이 전염되는 이유. These 3 articles. The first one. 대사. What is 대사? 대사 can be a few things, but in this case, it's the lines from a movie or a drama. The lines that the dialogues that actors and actresses have to say. 대사. Okay? Drama or movie. Lines. 대사. Yes, script. 대사를 다 외웠어요. I hope the font is big enough for you. If it's too small, let me know. 자, 이게 제목이에요. 제목. That's the title. 제목. Title. Font is good. Thank you. Also, I will try to answer questions as I go along go with the class if the question fits the context, but if not, I will try to answer as many questions as possible toward the end of the class. So please repeat your question just once at the end of the class if I don't see your question or request. 어떤 영화를 좋아하세요? 어떤 영화를 좋아하세요? 어떤 is what kind of. What kind of movies, object marking particle, 좋아하세요, do you like? Pretty straightforward. What kind of movies do you like? Now that I think about it, the word order is exactly the same almost, right? And then 저는 so and so 영화를 좋아해요. 저는 영화를 좋아해요. So you say in English this part first. 영어에서는 이 부분을 먼저 말하죠. I like movies. And then that 음악이 나오는. So that's the word order of the English language. In this case, 저는 영화를 좋아해요. 음악이 나오는. So you have to get used to this concept of putting or squeezing all the modifying information in front of the noun. 저는 음악이 나오는 영화를 좋아해요. Let's say you like movies that 음악이 나오다. Music comes out. Well, to be fair, all movies in the entire world have some music in them, right? But in this case, I think it's like musical movies, or that feature prominently some songs. So, 저는 음악이 나오는 영화를 좋아해요. Let's say if you want to modify 영화, movie, with more elements. 저는, so in English you want to say, I like movies that have music in them, have some action in them, and feature some cool, let's say, landscapes. This is how you would structure a sentence in English. So you state the fact that you like movies first, but then in Korean, this part, I like movies part, goes to the very end. It has to wait, right? So you have to say something like 저는 음악이 나오고 액션이 좀 있고 멋진 풍경을 보여주는 영화를 좋아해요. So this might be a challenge for many learners as they go from beginner to intermediate and also to advanced. You have to kind of put the two parts aside and then widen the gap and squeeze everything in. 맞죠? 네. Okay. Yeah, the structure is different. And every native speaker or advanced speaker or fluent speaker or a comfortable speaker will be used to this, and you will get used to this as you practice more. 저는 음악이 나오는 영화를 좋아해요. So I think it can be a musical movie or that where the characters sing some songs. 영화에 나오는 음악을 들으면 영화에. So the standard pronunciation is 영화, but as you noticed me doing, it's often pronounced as 영화, because the 히읗 consonant is often weakened to idiom in many words if the 히읗 is used in the second or third syllable. So if it's 영화, it's fine. 영화, it's fine. I mean, there's no word that goes like this. 영화 is not a word that exists, so there's no room for confusion. So 영화. But the standard pronunciation is 영화. 영화의 moving picture, right? Moving picture. 영화에 나오는 음악을 들으면 when I hear music that comes out in a movie, so here 나오다 is to be featured. 나오다. It means to come out. But in this case, 책에 나와요, 뉴스에 나와요. So 책에 나와요, 뉴스에 나와요, 텔레비전에 나와요, 영화에 나와요, 인터넷에 나와요. It all means that information, that scene, that person is in that piece of content. That's in a book, that's in the news, that's on TV, in the movie, on the internet. 나오다. It's coming out from the material to your eyes, right? 나와요? Okay. Why? Okay. Why 좀? Because I added 좀 because of the word some action in them. It doesn't have to be like completely full of action. 좀, action이 좀 있고. You can get rid of it, like have action in them. It just corresponds really nicely to some action, like depending on how you say it. Okay. 좋아요. Amazing. 영화에 나오는 음악을 들으면 if I or when I, as you can see, as we mentioned in our lesson, in our core grammar lesson. By the way, you can take our full course on our website, talktomekorean.com, or with our courses app if you're new. All the links will be down below. 들으면, originally 면 is just translated to if, but it's actually in many cases just when, right? When you hear music from a movie, 영화 속, it's not 속, it's 속, 영화 속, because it's connected to this. Inside the movie, 영화 속, 장면이 생각나요. 장면 is a scene. 생각나요. I can think. It reminds me of a scene in a movie. 생각 is a thought. 생각하다 is to think. 생각. So, okay. 생각을 하다 is shortened to 생각하다. And 생각이 나다 is shortened to 생각나다 is also to think, to remember, to be reminded. It's passive. This one is active because you are doing the thing. 하다, you're doing it. 나다, it just came out. The thought occurred to you. The thought occurs to you. Okay? That's the difference. 사이시옷, right. What you're saying is correct, but we're not using the 사이시옷. So let's quickly mention this 사이시옷. What is 사이시옷? 사이 means between. 사이시옷은 뭐냐면 between 시옷. The between 시옷. 시옷 is just the name of this letter, right? It's only called the between 시옷 or 사이 시옷 when it's written or when it's like used. For example, 배 is your stomach. You will see this word later in a different word, different story. 속 is inside. 배 속 is inside your stomach. And you can sometimes see 뱃속. That's also the same thing inside your stomach. But when you put them together as one word, you can't write it as 배속 because it'll sound and look like fast forward. So it'll sound like a different word. 배속, 2배속, double speed, 3배속. Oops, my camera always detects my victory signs. 배속 is 2 times the speed, and 3배속 or 3배속 is 3 times the speed. 4배속, 5배속, 6배속. That's 배속. But if you want to say inside your stomach is comfortable, uncomfortable, it's 뱃속. Because that's how people, pronunciation is the first, how people pronounce it. So you mark the fact that people have to pronounce it like 속 with the 시옷. Okay? So yeah, I use this, I love this camera that I'm using, webcam, and it detects mainly 2 things. This one, and then, let's see, I'm going to show you. And this one. Come on. Detects the thumbs up. Okay, suddenly it decided not to. All right, so whenever the, I don't know, tension of the class is a little low, I'll do this. And then everybody will be like, oh, balloons. Okay, 생각이 나요. 그래서 다시 볼게요. 영화에 나오는 음악을 들으면 영화 속 장면이 생각나요. Oh, it occurs to you. So far so good, I guess. 그리고 and 제가 좋아하는 배우가 나오면 again coming out. When I see, so basically what you're saying is you see an actor that you like. 제가 좋아하는 배우가, 배우 is an actor, 배우가 나오면 영화가 재미없어도 even if the movie is not fun, 무조건 봐요. Okay, so 무 is none, nothing, 무. 조건, it's pronounced as 조건, okay? 조건, so condition. 무조건 is unconditionally, no matter what. Always, 무조건. 내일 무조건 와야 돼. So you are telling your friend, no matter what, you're gonna have to be there, okay? You will be there. 무조건 와야 돼. And the friend is like hesitating, 망설이고 있어요. 친구가 망설이고 있어요. They're hesitating, and then you can say 내일 무조건 와야 돼. 나 이거 무조건 살 거야. I'm definitely getting this one. I'm definitely going to buy this. Okay? 제가 좋아하는 배우가 나오면 when I see an actor or an actor that I like is featured in the movie or is in the movie, I watch it no matter what. Okay? Why is it pronounced with a double 기역, 쌍기역? Well, in these cases, there's no why. Like it is just, yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but with a lot of the pronunciation rules, it is just the way it is. In many words, the explanation can be, well, there's this other word that is pronounced without the double sound. So like 배속 and 뱃속, which we just compared earlier, like 3 minutes ago. There are some cases like that to distinguish the pronunciation from the other softer sounding word. But yeah, in many words, it's just the way it is. 무조건. Like, why is it pronounced like that? You can ask that question about actually many, many words in many languages in the world. Why is it this way? Why is it that way? There's no good explanation because the pronunciation patterns have been formed over a long period of time. So as a learner, the best thing that you can do is just try reading it the way you think it is correct. And then if it's wrong, it'll be wrong. It's fine. You will make that mistake and the native speaker will say it differently. One good thing is in this case, 무조건, if you pronounce it as 무조건, it'll be fine. Like everybody will understand you and then get back to you with the correct pronunciation. 좋아하는 배우를 볼 수 없으면 재미없어도 okay, let me see if I mistyped it. 볼 수 없으면 좋아하는 배우를 볼 수 있으면 볼 수 있으면 if I can see a movie actor that I like, 재미없어도 괜찮아요. It's fine if the movie is not fun. So here, the subjects of the two clauses are omitted, right? 제가 좋아하는 배우를 볼 수 있으면 영화가 재미없어도 괜찮아요. This is a characteristic of the Korean language. You see the subjects of each, I guess, verb, each of the verbs omitted so often because the context is clear. Okay. Excuse me. More coffee. 커피를 더 마실게요. Or less coffee, maybe. 제가 가장 좋아하는 영화에는 좋은 음악도 나오고 좋아하는 배우도 나와요. Okay. Two things combined. 제가 가장 좋아하는 영화에는 in my favorite movie 가장 like the most 가장 좋아하는 so in the movie that I like the most 좋아하는 좋은 음악도 나오고 so let's count how many times we see 나오다 나오는 그 다음에 4번 5번 6번 오케이 6번 나왔어요. 6 times 나오다. You see someone in the movie, it comes out. So maybe it is the keyword of this article. 나오다. If you can take away one thing, you can take this one. Okay, in my favorite movie, there's good music. There's my favorite actor or actor I like. 저는 그 영화를 10번쯤 봐서 대사를 거의 다 외웠어요. I watched that movie about 10 times. About 10번쯤 봐서 대사를 거의 다 외웠어요. I've memorized the lines, almost all of them. 거의 다. 거의 is pronounced as 거의. People rarely say 거의. It's 거의 다 외웠어요. Okay? 그래서 어떤 장면에서 so in a certain scene 배우가 대사를 말하면 if the actor says a line 저는 그 뒤에 나오는 okay here 저는 그 뒤에 나오는 대사를 the line that comes after 그 뒤에 what does 그 refer to here? 그 refers to that line. So the previous line is here referred to as 그 뒤. 뒤 is after, behind. So the line after 배우와 동시에 말할 수 있어요. I can say the following line at the same time with the actor. 네. Okay. Great. And I see in the chat that some of you are trying and kind of typing the translation of the line that I am explaining at the same time or before I give you the translation. I think that's great practice. 좋은 연습인 것 같아요. 제가 설명하기 전에, 번역을 하기 전에 영어로 먼저 써보시는 분들이 있는데 좋은 것 같아요. Okay, so before we go on to the quiz section of this story, let me see if I missed any really important question here. Yeah, I am really bad at multitasking. I don't believe multitasking exists. I can only focus on one thing. If somebody's talking to me, I can't be doing anything with my hands. I have to listen or just do the thing and I will completely, zone that person out. So for me, it's a challenge because I have to explain things and I see the comments going up. And whenever I look at the comments, I'm like, what was I doing? So I think I did see a question, about vocabulary. Yes. So grammar, structure, vocabulary. These are two areas, two lines, or sections of language learning that you need to try to kind of catch with both your hands. Grammar one side and vocabulary the other side. And when you design a curriculum like the Talk to Me in Korean curriculum, you kind of debate, should we include gradually more difficult vocabulary like abundantly, or do we want to focus more on helping the learner understand the structure of the language more with limited vocabulary? And we wanted to do both because you do see more and more vocabulary as you go up in our levels, but we kind of leaned a little closer to the latter, the second option, because we really wanted to help learners with the struggle of understanding Korean sentence structure, grammar, and that is why we have other vocabulary books, like really detailed vocabulary materials to fill that gap. And this app is going to be great for you if you just have to choose one thing for Korean vocabulary. I mentioned earlier that we have a book sale going on starting from today, so you can definitely pick up some books. And if you enjoy learning with books, you're going to love them. But if you're like, which one should I get? And you want to just pick one thing for long-term vocabulary learning, I would say read more, read a lot. And if you're starting from the beginning, pick up our 500 Korean words book for the beginners. And then maybe after that book, this Stories app will be great for you. Okay? So you can't just do grammar alone. You can't just do vocabulary alone. You have to do both. Okay, so within the app, as you know, you can take the quiz and you can see the app, right? And you can also change the font a little bigger or smaller. Okay, this is the speed, bigger. And then you can change the font, highlights on and off for the words. Okay, I like 명조. Okay, I need to tell you about this 명조 after this quiz. All right, let's go to the quiz. Oh, Tassie says this app is great. I just started with it because of your live class last week. That's amazing. 감사합니다. 첫 번째 퀴즈. First quiz. 첫 번째 퀴즈. 저는 음악이 나오는 영화를 좋아해요. 맞아요. 저는 영화를 한 번만 봐도 대사를 다 외워요. 저는 영화를 한 번만 봐도 even if I watch a movie once, I memorize all the lines. Oh, you must be a genius. That wasn't mentioned, right? Maybe because you watched it 10 times, you memorize it. 제가 좋아하는 배우가 나오면 영화가 재미없어도 if a movie has an actor I like, even if it's not fun, 10번 봐요, 무조건 봐요, 거의 다 봐요. 네, 무조건 봐요. So yeah, 10번 maybe if you like it a lot, but 무조건 봐요 was the only one that was specifically mentioned. 무조건, 무조건, 무조건. Now that I keep saying it, 무조건, yeah. 무, going from 무 to like 무 to 건 or 건. 조 is kind of in the middle. So depending on the person, you will hear like 무조건, like almost. So you will see. Okay, everything correct. 3 out of 3. Perfect. So we're gonna go to level 4 and read another story. 고구마와 사이다. But let me tell you about the 명조 font. So I don't have knowledge about the origin of the name itself. I apologize for that. But so here, as you can see, there are 2 fonts. Let me just make that bigger for you in the app. So that's 명조, 명조. And you can see 명조 채. 채 is, as you can see here, 채 is type. The reason that I want to tell you about 명조채 is because I want to introduce 궁서채. Okay? So 명조 is, it's got like brush, stroke kind of endings, right? As you can see. And 고딕 is, you know 고딕, Gothic. This is more squared and straight lines like computer type, right? Yeah. Okay, 채 is, yeah, it's a type, font type. Is there any other context where 채 is used as another kind of type? Yes, yeah, it's font type, 채. So 고딕채, 명조채, 궁서채. So there are lots of other font types, but okay, maybe 필기채. Maybe I should make a short video about it. But let me quickly explain and then go on to the second article that we can read together. So as you can see, this is computer kind of font. And then the 명조채 is more humane, I guess, more like a person's like really neat handwriting. And that's that. So look at this. 고딕채 is like that. This one that you are reading is written in 고딕채. Let me see if I can change this to 명조. 명조. Do I have 명조 on my computer for you? Yeah, this is 명조채. Let me actually make it bigger. I really hope I have the 궁서채. And then 필기채 is, 필기 is 연필 or 붓필. This is this means brush. 연필 also means, you know, something brush, right? And 기 is writing, and 채 is handwriting, handwritten. So 필기채 is something like, maybe something like, not this one. I don't have Korean 필기 here, but maybe something like this, 필기채, something, yeah, calligraphy. And 궁서채, this is something that I really hope I have. Like, I didn't prepare to think about, like, introduce this, right? 궁서체. Where do I have the nicest 궁서체 here? Maybe I can go to a website. 보세요. 잠깐만 기다려 주세요. 궁서체. Okay, I have it here for you. So 궁서체. Do you see this? 궁서체. Yeah, 궁서체. This is like palace style, Joseon Dynasty style brush strokes, right? So that is why when you see somebody writing something in 궁서체, it's so this word is not written in 궁서체. It's like seriousness. Okay. 지금 궁서체로 말했어. You can hear someone saying like as a joke, he just said it in 궁서체. That line he just said was in the 궁서 font type, which means he just sounded really serious. Do you understand what it means? 어때요? 이런 말이 있어요. I just wanted to introduce the fact to you as we were going over the fact that we have different fonts in our app. 궁서체. So 고딕체, 명조체, 궁서체, 필기체. 한번 when you watch the next Korean variety show, now that you know it, the more you know, the more you see, you will hear it the next time. Yeah, 필기체 is really difficult to read. Yeah, but you'll get used to it. 좋아요. I think the pace is good. We've just spent about 30-something minutes with one article. Let me go with the level 4 article for you. This is in the intermediate category, intermediate territory. So congratulations if you are going to be able to read this and understand a lot. Okay, 고구마와 사이다. 고구마 is sweet potato. 사이다 is Sprite or Sprite. I think 7-Up Sprite. In Korea, we call it 사이다, and it's often a culture shock moment when Korean people go abroad and hear about cider, like, cider being completely unrelated to what they call 사이다, which is Sprite. Yeah. Anyway, 고구마. Let's begin. 고구마 먹어봤어요? Have you eaten 고구마, sweet potatoes? One thing that was weird to me at first when I was learning English was that fact that 고구마 was called sweet potatoes. To me, as a Korean person, even the fact that 고구마 and 감자 are called or even treated like similar things was shocking to me. The fact that 고구마 is a sweet potato, 감자 is just a potato, was a shock to me, because to me, 감자 is one thing, 고구마 is another thing. They are completely unrelated to me. The texture is different. It's almost like comparing a pear and an apple, or let's say an apple and an orange. Both are fruits. An apple is a fruit. An orange is a fruit. They're two different things, but it's like calling an orange a sour apple to me, right? So you have an apple and a sour apple. Hey, but then to me it was like, what? You're too lazy to have a word for 고구마. You're just calling them sweet potatoes. Yeah. Anyway, in Korean you do have a word for 고구마. And then 고구마는 맛있지만, 고구mas are delicious, but 계속 먹는 것은 어려워요. Continuously eating them is difficult. 고구마만 계속 먹으면, if you keep eating just 고구마 alone, 속이 답답하고, 속 is your insides, okay? Your inside. 고구마만 계속 먹으면, so without any drinks or water, 답답해요. It's just too dense, right? 물을 마시고 싶어요. You want to drink water. Ah, yeah. The French people called potatoes apples of the earth, like pomme de terre, right? So yeah, that was very interesting to me as well. So okay, 고구마, and fun, I guess, pronunciation coincidence. If you say koguma in Japanese, it's a baby bear. So you're eating koguma, and then maybe a Japanese person is like, you're eating what? Okay. 그래서 고구마 같다라는 유행어가 생겼어요. So 유행어, 유행 is a trend. 어 is word, so trending word. 고구마 같다라는 유행어가 생겼어요. So people made this trending expression called 고구마 같다, like a sweet potato, like a 고구마. When do you use it? 언제 써요? 고구마를 먹은 것처럼, like you ate 고구마, as if you ate 고구마. 속이 답답하면, let me lower the mic a little. Okay. 속, your inside, 답답하다. Do you know this expression? 답답하다? 답답하다 can be just described. There's no clear one single definition. 답답하다 is you feel clogged, frustrated, like something's is not going smoothly, you are upset, many things. It's just, So 답답하다. So 속이 답답해요, it means it's not circulated well, ventilated well, everything is 답답해. Somebody doesn't express their emotions clearly, 답답해. Everything's just 답답해. 답답. Even the pronunciation is 답답 because you're not like linking it to the next vowel or anything. 답답, right? 이 말을 쓸 수 있어요. So when you feel like 속이 답답해, as if you just ate 고구마 and the stomach feels heavy, stuffed. And then here, 행동. 행동 is behavior or action. 행동. 행 is to do something. 동 means to move, movement. 행동. 이, 느린 사람. A person whose behavior is slow, whose actions are slow, 을 보면, if you see a person like that, 이 말이 떠올라요. 떠오르다. 떠오르다 is actually a combination of 뜨다, 오르다. Okay? 오르다 is to go up. 오르다. Do you know the word 올라가다? 올라가다 is actually a combination of 오르다 and 가다, right? 올라가다. So 떠오르다 is the combination of 뜨다 and 오르다. 뜨다 is used when the sun rises. 해가 떠요. So 떠오르다. 해가, maybe if you want to say the sun is in the middle of rising above the clouds. 해가 떠오르고 있어요. You dropped something in the sea or in the pool, something that's plastic, it'll float. 떠올라요. Maybe a air tube or something. 떠올라요. So when a word or a thought or an idea floats, it surfaces, it comes to your mind. 이 말이 떠올라요. 행동이 느린 사람을 보면, when you see somebody who's slow in acting, this expression comes up to the surface of the water. Because you think of it. 어떤 문제가 생겨서 답답한 상황에서도, also in a situation that is frustrating because there was a problem, 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. You can say it like this. Alright, so we just learned about 고구마를 고구마 같다, like a sweet potato. 반대의 뜻을 가진 유행어도 있어요. Again, trending or slang or trending expression, 유행어 있어요. 반대의 뜻을 가진 that has the opposite meaning. 반대, opposite. 반대 is the opposite. And 반대하다 is to oppose, to say no, to say no to something. Okay, 반대하다. So the opposite meaning. 속이 답답하거나 when you feel like the inside is stuffed or 느끼한 음식을 먹은 다음에 느끼하다 is greasy food. Okay, 느끼한 음식. Like let's say cheese pizza or like something really really cheesy and greasy. 먹은 다음에 사이다를 먹으면 어때요? Something interesting here. 사이다, Sprite, is not something you eat in English, but in Korean you eat it too. You drink it. 먹다 means to drink or to eat, depending on the context. 어때요? How is it if you drink some 사이다, Sprite, after you eat something greasy or like you feel stuffed? 탄산, the carbonated drink, 탄산. The carb part is here, 탄소. 탄소 is carbon. Okay? 탄소 is carbon. 탄산이 목을 지나서 the carbonation goes through your throat. 배 속으로 들어가면 goes into your stomach. 시원한 느낌이 나죠? 느낌이 나다. You get that feeling. Yeah. You get the feeling of 시원해. It's like relieving. Question. 반대의 here 반대의 뜻을 반대의 뜻. Yeah. It's actually it goes both ways. 반대의 뜻. 반대의 or 반대의 뜻을 가진. It goes both ways. Like 거의, I said earlier that people rarely say 거의. It's almost always 거의. This one, 반대의. Yeah, it depends. Like if you want to add a little bit of formality, like I am here in this live class in front of many people, I can go like 반대의 or 반대. Yeah, it depends on the person. Carbon as in charcoal. Yeah, carbon as in charcoal. Yes, carbonated 탄산. So when you see 탄산, it's carbonated. 탄산음료. 탄산수. Fizzy water. Carbonated water. Yeah, maybe we should do some chemical like terms in the future. So 그래서 누군가 하고 싶은 말을 누군가 내가 하고 싶은 말을 대신하면 so someone 내가 하고 싶은 말. This is one chunk, right? 내가 하고 싶은 말. Something I want to say. 대신 is instead. Replacing someone. This means replacing. 대신 하면 if somebody says what I wanted to say instead of me, like for me, or 어려운 상황, difficult situation, 한 번, in one go, 한 번에, right away, at the first try, 해결되면, if it's resolved easily, 사이다 같다라고 해요. So it's the opposite of 고구마 같다. So 고구마 같아요. 고구마 먹은 것 같아요. 사이다 같아요. Okay? Contrasting expressions. 사이다를 먹은 것처럼 속이 시원하다라는 뜻이에요. You know, the tension has been relieved as if you've just had some Sprite, some carbonated fizzy drink. 고구마와 사이다. 음식으로 만든 재밌는 유행어예요. So these are fun slang expressions made with food. So that is, yeah, that. Yep, spamming is not allowed. Thank you. All right. Level 7. 다음으로 넘어가는데 한번 퀴즈를 볼까요? Let's do the quiz. I hope you can get everything correctly. Let me actually shrink it down to medium. You ready? quiz. 정답은 뭐예요? 음식으로 만든 유행어가 있어요. 음식으로 만든 유행어가 있어요. There's a slang expression made with food. 맞아요. 고구마와 사이다는 반대의 뜻을 가진 유행어예요. 고구마와 사이다는 반대의 뜻을 가진 유행어예요. Correct? I guess. Because 고구마 is just a sweet potato and 사이다 is just a drink, but the two kinds of foods themselves mean something now. So they can be called the slang expressions. 고구마 같은 사람은 누구예요? Who is somebody that is like a sweet potato? 고구마를 좋아하는 사람? Somebody who likes sweet potatoes. 행동이 느린 사람? Somebody whose behavior is slow. 재밌는 유행어를 만드는 사람? Somebody who makes fun slang expressions. 행동이 느린 사람. 사이다 같은 상황은 뭐예요? What's a situation like 사이다? 문제가 생긴 상황? A situation with a problem? 어려운 상황이 해결된 상황? A situation where a difficult situation has been resolved. 느끼한 음식을 먹은 상황. A situation where you ate some greasy food. Okay, we got everything right. That's amazing. I see one message from James. 한국어 학습에 대한 동기를 유지하는 방법. Well, my only answer is you have to do many activities with the Korean language. You have to, if you just study, it's not going to be fun. So you have to do many things around the Korean language. Listen to songs, watch movies, make friends, do language exchanges, take courses, classes, go to events, do many things around this language. And yeah, that's how you can stay motivated to continue learning. Is it normal to be in between levels? Yes, it's absolutely normal to be in between levels. You know, your Korean skill level is within a spectrum of things, of difficulty levels. No one can define you as completely B1, you are A2, 100%, you are not even a 1% in, B1 or anything like that. It depends on the topic too. With the languages I've learned, I am sometimes in, for example, even with my English or Japanese, I feel like I am in A2 when it comes to scientific terms or other things, but then maybe C1, C2 in other areas. And yeah, so it can vary. So you don't have to confine your Korean language knowledge or skills in one kind of area. Yeah. So be flexible, have more confidence. And I recently posted a video about having to have confidence first before you are fluent, because if you don't have the confidence that you can learn this language, you can, do this, you're never going to be fluent. Okay. you feel small sometimes when you understand advanced and intermediate vocabulary and still not know some beginner words. It's completely fine. It's going to be, and the Korean language is known to have way more vocabulary words. Just the total number of words that exist in the Korean language is more than the number of words in the English language. If you look it up, if you compare, the Korean language has way more words than English. So that's natural. It doesn't mean that you have to memorize all of them. Yeah, if you have the structure, you have some words, 70%, 80% of the words that you need to get across your message, maybe use, an English word there and the other person will understand. The communication is the most important thing. So don't worry. Find ways to feel more confident and then keep going. What do you recommend for someone who has a lot of random unrelated vocab but struggles to recognize them in speech, text, or often can't use them in their own output? I feel like the best answer, the best remedy for that is spend a ton of time with output. So if you have an awareness test of sorts on your own in your notebook, say, how confident am I with output? And how confident am I with vocabulary? How confident am I with grammar? Maybe you will see lopsided or something, a shape that you see, and then oh, this area is empty. I just have to drill, speaking. So yeah, I hope you spend more time with output. When will be the next live class? I don't know yet, but I think it'll be next week. I will try to do once a week in different days of the week. We'll see. I'm just still experimenting on the best time for the live class. Okay, so let's read level 7 if you are ready. Level 7. It depends on how much extra studies or vocabulary learning that you do, but if you finish level 10 with the Talk to Me in Korean curriculum, and if you know enough vocabulary, you can confidently say that you are at C1 and maybe you are like ready to go into C2. And level 7 will be, so it's really difficult to match the CFR, common, European framework of reference, is it? With the Korean levels here at Talk to Me in Korean. But this will be at the end of the intermediate territory. 좋아요. This is your first live class. Thank you. 하품이라는 단어를 보고 하품하게 됐어요. 하품. I'm going to actually look up the word origin of 하품. Why is 하품 is called 하품? Okay. Yeah. I think so. There are some theories, but not even a theory, but how I would recommend that you memorize this word for yawning. 하품 is yawning. Is when you do a yawn, 하품, you make this sound. 하품, like that. 하품. So 하품, easily remembered, right? 하품이 전염되는 이유. The reason that 하품 is infectious, is infected, is contagious. Okay, 전염 is contagion. 전염되다, to be infected. Okay. 주변 사람이 하품을 해서 주변 사람. 주변 is around you, vicinity. 주변 사람 is people around you. Even talking, so yeah, I'm gonna make so many people yawn here because we have 하품 written everywhere in this paragraph. 주변 사람이 하품을 해서, so this is intermediate, so I'm gonna skip over some basic stuff, but then also try to explain important things. 주변 사람 is people around you. So it's a good expression to remember as is. 주변 사람. 주변 사람들. People around me. 주변 사람들. 주변 사람들에게 주변 사람들한테 물어봤어요. I asked. Right? 주변 사람들한테 물어봤어요. 주변 사람이 하품을 해서 somebody next to you yawned. 나도 똑같이 I in the same way likewise 하품을 한 경험이 있지요. You've had an experience where you yawned as well. Right? 하품은 우리가 깊은 호흡을 통해서 Wow, this is a complex sentence. Okay, let me break it down. 하품은 yawning, what it does is 우리가 so and so 도록 돕는데요. So it helps us so and so 도록. So this one is the 하품 yawning helps us do A. So this is the part for A. Okay? Yawning helps us 깊은 호흡을 통해서 긴장을 풀고 몸이 휴식을 취하도록. Okay? So that's the structural difference between English and Korean that I talked about at the beginning of this class. 깊은 호흡, deep breath. 깊은 호흡. 호흡 is also, I mean, it has nothing to do with the etymology of the word, but 호흡 also is easy to remember if you go like or 호흡. Like that. 호흡. Mnemonic devices. 호흡. 호흡. 깊은 호흡을 통해서 through deep breaths 긴장을 풀고 relieve tension 몸이 휴식을 취하도록 for your body to take some rest, get some rest. 하품은 so yawning helps us relieve stress or tension through deep breaths and then for our body to get some rest. Okay. 그렇다면 in that case, if so, 다른 사람이 하품하는 것을 보고 upon seeing another person yawning, 왜 그것을 따라하게 되는 걸까요? Why do we get to copy it? 따라하다, 따르다. To follow. 따라. So 따르다 in this case, it doesn't mean to pour something. It's a different word. It's an homonym. But 따르다 is to follow. In ancient battlefield kind of manner, 나를 따르라. In a battle, a warrior, leader. Follow me, into the battle. 나를 따르라. Something like that. It would be a good occasion where 따르다 is used as a standalone expression. Maybe it's something that can be cleverly written on a kettle, or milk, pour me, something like that. But in modern day Korean, 따라가다, 따라오다, 따라하다, like that, it's used in conjunction with other things. The official spelling is with a space here, 따라하다. So in this case, 따라하다 is actually 따라서하다's abbreviation. So 왜 그것을 따라하게 되는 걸까요? Why do we copy, mimic the yawning? 하품 전염은 하품 전염, yawning contagion, yawning infection is a phenomenon, 현상, phenomenon, 공감하기 때문에 생기는. It's a phenomenon. So they say, 라고 합니다. They say that it's a phenomenon that 생기다, that happens because you empathize. 공감 is empathy, 공감하다. So 공 means shared, 감 is emotion, feeling. Okay? 공감하기 때문에 생기는 현상이라고 합니다. Alright? 하품을 하는 사람이 기지개를 켜고 하품을 하는 것을 보면 So the person who's yawning 보면 if you see the person who's yawning 기지개를 켜고 stretching like that 기지개를 켜다 and 하품을 하는 것 if you see that person who is yawning stretching and yawning 보면 그 사람의 감정과 상태를 이해하게 되어서 그런 거래요. They say that it's like that because that person's feeling or emotion and condition or state you understand. Oh, you understand that that person is tired. 기지개 is stretching, but not just any stretching is 기지개 is stretching when you are sleepy or tired or when you just woke up. Okay? And Korean native speakers often think it's 기지개를 펴다 because 펴다 is to open, but it's actually 기지개를 켜다. And this is something that we learn in our Korean classes in school. Our national language, Korean classes teaches, oh, it's not 기지개를 펴다, like opening a book, 책을 펴다, it's 기지개를 켜요. It's probably the only situation where 켜다 is used as to open. Okay? 그 사람의 감정과 상태를 이해하게 되어서 그런 거래요. Okay, we just went over that. We have just a few more lines, everybody. You got this. How many lines do we have? I wonder if talking about yawning as the subject of today's third paragraph for the live class is making anybody yawn even more than usual. So, 그래서 so 친하고 가까운 사이일수록 you see this grammar pattern. The more you are 친해요, close, familiar, and 가까운 사이, 친하다, 가깝다 is the same thing in this case. The more you're closer, the closer you are to that person, 하품이 더 전염될 수 있어요. The yawning can be even more contagious. 그 사람의 상태를 더 잘 이해하니까요. Because you understand that person's state better. 아이가 부모의 하품을 따라하거나 the child copying 부모, the parents, 부 is father, 모 is mother, 부모의 하품을 따라하거나 a child copying the yawning of their parents, 가까운 친구와 같은 장소에 있을 때 when you are in the same place with your close friend, 서로의 하품이 전염되는 것도 the yawning of each other being contagious or being infected is a common thing. 흔한 일이지요. 흔한 일이에요. 레벨 7 아주 어려워요. 맞아요. 어렵지만 좋아요. 어려우니까 많이 배울 수 있죠. 심지어 is a very useful expression. 심지어 on top of that or even 심지어 even animals 함께하는 강아지처럼 does it actually say 함께하는? Let me actually go because I had to type this. Let's go to level 7. This is the story. 하품 where is it? Here. 함께 사는. All right. 함께 사는. Do you see over here? 함께 사는 강아지처럼 even if it's animals 함께 사는 강아지처럼 like a puppy that you live together with 가까운 사이라면 if it's a close relationship 하품이 전염될 수 있대요. They say that the yawning can be contagious. 정말 사랑스러운 it's a lovely infection. Okay. 좋아요. So we looked at everything. Let's look at the quiz really quickly and then wrap up today's class and answer some questions. 동물에게는 하품이 전염되지 않는다. So 동물에게, this means either to or from. 전염된다고 했어요. It said that it is infectious, contagious. 친한 사람일수록 하품이 잘 전염된다. 친한 사람일수록 하품이 잘 전염된다. If you're closer to that person, it's easier to copy. Yawning. Okay? 하품은 깊은 호흡을 통해서 하품 through deep breath 무엇을 하도록 해요? 잠을 자도록 you fall asleep. 긴장을 하도록 you tense up. 휴식을 취하도록 you get some rest. Get some rest. 하품 전염은 왜 생겨요? Why does the 하품 전염 happen? 공감하기 때문에 because you empathize. 공기가 부족하기 때문에 because you lack air. 하품하는 사람과 친하지 않기 때문에 because you are not close to that person who's yawning. 공감하기 때문에. Alright, we got everything, and as you see, you can go to the notes and then actually look at all the translation in your target language. It'll follow the device settings, and if your device is set to say Italian, German, or other languages, the translation will be shown in your language, so it'll be really good. It is our kind of intermediary step toward localizing our apps, so you can see the grammar breakdown over here, so you can do that, and you can go to the practice section and then try typing. 왜 하품이 전염된다고 지문에서 설명했나요? 하품은 it happens sometimes when I'm mirroring my phone to my computer, but so you get the idea. All right, that's it. This was your live class. Oh, actually, I don't know if you've seen or had this situation where because the alphabet is just written next to, side by side to the, following the previous character, but since Korean has to be constructed in boxes, this can be a problem, right? 안녕하세요. So this can happen sometimes when the keyboard error happens. Right? So it's a struggle sometimes, but I don't have that problem on my computer now. It's rare. It's sometimes, I don't know why. Okay. Comparing our levels to the topic, that's also not very convenient, but we'll see if I can come up, or we do have something in our brochure for the books, but usually A1 to B1 to C1 to usually correspond pretty similarly to the topic levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Because they're both 6 levels and we are 10 levels. And just think of it as our first level as the first level and our last level as something between level 5 and 6 in topic plus lots of vocabulary. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. And some comments here. All right. I'm going to just copy and paste this section. If you're watching the recording, I'm sure you already know that you can actually tap and open the live comments, live chat replay area to see all the comments going up in real time. Even if you do watch the recorded version, how did I know I wanted to be a teacher? That's a good question and a difficult one to answer because I've always known. It's strange, but I've always taught some things. I even taught breakdancing. I even taught computer. So from an early age, I liked to, once I learned something, I liked to break it down and explain in an easier form so that my friends could understand it better. And my son is exactly like that. My older son, he's 11, and I can see that he's really good at explaining things. I've launched a personal podcast with my sons, and in those podcast episodes, whenever he has to explain things, he's like, I'm so surprised sometimes, like, oh, that's a good way to explain something. I'm like, yeah. And lie dead. I really like this reading classes. Thank you. Thank you for liking the class. This is your first live class, Fatima. 감사합니다. 네, 그래서 저는 그냥 I don't usually call myself a teacher. I like to see myself as a helper for learners. I want to help you learn. And that is why I didn't go into classroom teaching, because in a classroom, I can only teach 20, 30 people at once. But by being a helper for learners, I can help millions of people at the same time. Right? Yeah, breakdancing is something that I would love to do more of. I used to train every day for 10 years. That was my main thing. Feels like a past life, but that's part of my identity. Questions? Okay. 한두 개 정도. 에게서. You're right. 에게 is to and from. Did the quiz say 에게서 earlier? Then 에게서 is only from. Thank you for correcting me. You're right. 다른 질문 있으세요? Where do we find the grammar rules of the Korean language? You can go to our website. You can see it really easily. And then talktomekorean.com is the site address. And if you just want to take courses right away without thinking like about all the other different options, you can just start learning today, and then you can learn with our classes here. We have by levels, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to level 10, and each level has the grammar lessons, and then speak and write practice sections, and then some corresponding courses. So level 10 has news in Korean, natural conversations. Level 9 also works really well with these 사자성어 expressions for character, idioms based on Chinese characters, etc. So you can go to our website and go to the course section and click on curriculum. You will see everything you need there. 또 다른 질문 있으세요? There are so many stories in the Stories app. How did you create so many different stories? Oh, we wrote them one by one. That's a good question. How did we make all the stories? It took us 2 years to create this app. So if you look at these stories, and this was before the launch of ChatGPT, OpenAI, LLM. The notion of LLM wasn't known to the general public, so we weren't going to, we wouldn't have generated stories with AI automatically anyway. We wrote, and with this, as well as with the SEO app, we actually incorporated our curriculum into the apps. So I don't know if you can, so SEO, I don't know if I'm logged in here, but within our speaking app SEO, you can also see our units based on our curriculum as well. So you can practice speaking in the app levels. This one, we just kind of changed it. So level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is Talk to Me in Korean curriculum-wise, levels 9 and 10, 7 and 8. But you get the idea we added these titles: foundational, beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert. And then you can go to these different units to see that, this is kind of actually based on our curriculum. So everything is based on our core grammar curriculum. What made you stop breakdancing so regularly? Well, I never completely stopped, but I was 19 years old when I started, and then 29, 30, I started Talk to Me in Korean. I got busy, and then just occasionally I started just, practicing occasionally, got married with kids, and then now I go, once every few months to the practice area and then practice, or I just do my handstands and footwork at home and my kids copy me, and that's good. So I can still do most of the moves with just fewer reps, I guess. I used to be able to do 50, 60 rounds of head spins easily just after having a bunch of pizza. But now, if I were to do a head spin, maybe 15 rounds, and then I'll be like, oh, it's so tiring. I need a rest. Yeah, I loved the movie Step Up. Yes, of course. All the movies that feature breakdance. I've seen all of them. Amazing. Thank you for asking some questions related to my hobbies as well. And this was what I prepared for today, Korean reading class for level 3, 4, 7. I'm glad that we were able to go over everything together this morning. It is 8:22 a.m. here in Korea. I hope you have a fantastic night or day, depending on where you are. And please check out our website, Talk to Me in Korean. You will see all the resources, all the materials that you will need. It's just your one-stop solution for everything Korean learning related, maybe minus like one-on-one tutoring. You have italki for that. But other than that, you have everything. And I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음 시간에 만나요. 감사합니다. 바이바이.